How's it going, everyone? My name is K-Mully. Pokemon Fire Red with only a snow run was extremely fun to do. Today, let's do our first run with the Generation 2 Pokemon and see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with only Houndour. Houndour has some decent stats, with his special being 80 and speed being 65. What's nice in Generation 3 is that dark moves are treated as special. It'll be good if I can make it a special sweeper. But besides that, pretty low stats aside from his 60 attack. In terms of its moves, they are not too bad. We start off with Ember and Leer, but at level 7, we get Howl. Howl is great for boosting our attack, and having that early on will be super helpful. We can teach it Sludge Bomb, so that'll be nice for coverage. Besides that, pretty basic move pool. I'm writing the script before I begin the challenge. We will most likely need to set up our defense early on, or be able to one-shot everything. I'm worried about Lorelei outspeeding us. Rules are pretty simple, only Houndour in battle. I can use other Pokemons for HMs, but they can't fight. No using items in battle except for Hell items, and no glitches or exploits. Using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I replaced Charmander with Houndour so that our rival will have Squirtle. This will make the challenge even tougher. I nicknamed it Hiei since I nicknamed the snow runt Yukina. Leave a comment down below if you get the reference. First rival fight and we lose. Our only attacking move is Ember, which Squirtle resists. Our nature is lonely, so plus attack and minus defense. Probably the worst one we could have gotten, but on the plus side, our ability is early bird, so we wake up faster. Our first challenge is Brock's high defense rock team. The nice part of having a forest area early on is being able to one-shot everything with Ember. I trained in the forest until level 13 where we learn Smog, a weak poison type move, but it's also a physical move. First attempt doesn't go well. We can Ember Geodude down, but Onix takes Ember easily. One Rock Tomb takes us out. I try again and we're able to pass Geodude without taking any damage. Our first Ember on Onix gets off the burden, lowering its already weak attack stat. This makes Rock Tomb survivable. After that, it is just a matter of time before Ember takes it out. I make sure to take out all the trainers from Pewter City to Cerulean. The Falling Roots and Mount Moon are mostly bug catcher, so pretty easy experience. We try learning Roar at level 19, but I refuse it. We are getting Bite at level 25, so it's going to be a good dark type move that gets same type attack bonus. We aren't strong enough for Misty yet, so I decide to take on a rival. Turns out we aren't strong enough to take him on either. I get a run where Pidgeotto goes for Gust instead of Sand Attack, so our accuracy is okay for Squirtle. We have a solid special defense, so we can take a few water guns. Next turn, Rattata one-shots us with Quick Attack. Once we learn Bite at level 25, I easily one-shot his entire team. Now that we have Bite, we can take on Misty. Starry goes down in one hit, and so does Starmie. Second badge is now ours. At this point, you're probably thinking, hey Kyle, you're 12 levels higher than your rival. Doesn't that seem like overkill? Well, for right now, yes, but the levels spike up for the rest of the trainers really soon, so this helps save time on grinding. Anyways, if you look at the battle, we still end up two-shotting most of our rival's team. Bite has a base power of 60, whereas Ember is 40, so it's the better move to use until we get Flamethrower. Alright, so Lieutenant Surge is a one-shot with Ember. Both Voltorb and Pikachu go down with a single Ember, and Raichu is a bit bulkier, so Ember doesn't do the job. We get paralyzed in the process, but Bite manages to pull ahead. This is where I plugged my Twitter in the Snow Run challenge, so I'm gonna do it again. Check it out if you want to stay up to date with uploads and my life. Next royal fight, not much has changed. He has Growlithe and Execute on the team, and no longer has Raticate. While we're in Rock Tunnel, we learn Fan Attack, another 60 power Dark type move, but this one can't miss. Wanna know something cool? As I'm typing the script out, I misspelled Execute, and Google Docs gave the correct spelling under suggestions. I thought that was kind of cool. If you haven't figured it out at this point, we're mostly sweeping through his team with Fan Attack. Before we take on the Mafia, I decided to hit the slots and get ourselves the Charcoal. This will boost our fire type moves. This will be nice since I don't quite have the money for the Flamethrower team yet. Alright, time to face the mobster himself. I set up two Howls or an Onix and take it out with Ember. Rhyhorn was a one-shot with Bite, but Onix left up with low health. Kangaskhan misses with Mega Punch as we barely get it to half. Another Bite gets it to under half, and it uses Tail Whip. We go first next turn for the win. After Giovanni, we get enough experience from the last few grunts to learn Flamethrower. This basically makes the Grass-type gym way easier than it already was. Flamethrower sweeps Erica's entire team. Koga's main gimmick is to spam Minimize to increase his team's evasiveness. All at the same time, spamming Smokescreen, lowering our accuracy. Wow, those two sentences were a tongue twister and a half. So this is where having Fan Attack comes in handy. My plan for this was to spam Fan Attack since it can't miss. First few attempts don't go well, so I try again at level 50. First, Coughing goes down to one Crunch and Muck use Toxic instead of Minimize. I was able to bring it down with only 2 Flamethrowers, and Coughing number 2 goes down to Crunch, and last is Wheezing. Wheezing is able to use Smokescreen lowering our accuracy, but next turn I use Fan Attack to guarantee the win. Alright, time for the 5th rival fight. His team is really focused on lowering our attack and accuracy. Pidgeot uses Feather Dance to lower our attack, but we don't have any moves that deal physical damage. Blastoise is able to get a few water guns, leaving us with just 12 health. Again, for us being 12 levels higher, our special defense can only help so much. I might consider teaching Sunny Day to boost our fire type moves and reduce the damage we take from water. The rest of his team, however, is an easy one-shot with Crunch and Flamethrower. Alright, so the second Giovanni fight is sweep for the most part with Flamethrower. Nidorino and Nidoqueen both fall to single flamethrower each. Rhyhorn survives, but we end up getting off the burn. It uses a scary face, lowering our speed. Considering we need to be faster than Kangaskhan, this is not ideal. It goes first with a tail whip, getting our defense dropped. It does survive a flamethrower and unleashes a big mega punch, bringing us to just 52 health. Counter it with an unnecessary critical crunch and save the building. Okay, so as a kid, I never knew why Fire Red lacked Steel and Dark type Pokemon. I mean, Magnemite and Magneton were part Steel, but I thought it was weird that there were not any Dark type Pokemon. I didn't realize until a couple years ago that they were introduced in Generation 2. So having Houndour being completely immune to Sabrina's team is actually really sweet here. I use Crunch on all of the Psychic Pokemon and Flamethrower on Venomoth since it's part Bug. Okay, so nothing really noteworthy for the fight with Blaine. Our Dark type moves are the best for the battle, and his Rapidash does survive a couple crunches but also misses with Fire Spin. His Arcanine is the biggest threat on his team. Now, just for a quick reference, these are our stats. See how garbage that 52 defense is? We are 11 levels stronger, and yet Takedown barely does half health to us. We can barely survive more than one hit. Alright, final gym and Giovanni Battle. Remember how I just said that we can barely survive a strong attack? Yeah, this gym is a nice reminder of that. His Rhyhorn and Dugtrio go quickly to Crunch and Flamethrower, but his Nidoqueen has some other plans. It survives with red health and gets off a strong Earthquake, bringing us up to 11 HP. It heals the next turn, and we're able to finish it off with 2 crunches. Nidoking survives our next crunch and finishes off with another Earthquake. We are 15 levels higher than it. Having taken on the rest of the trainers in the region, I try again at level 64. Mostly one-shotting his team using Crunch on his level 50 Rhyhorn. Usually survives Flamethrower with 1 health, so I'm not taking any chances. Alright, last rival fight before the Elite Four. His team is basically what he'll be using as champion. We start things off by slow roasting his bird lead. Blastoise is next and takes our Crunch. He counters with a Water Gun and does a good chunk of health. Through a long shot, but I decide to use Flamethrower and try getting a burn. Not very effective and leaves it in yellow, but it does actually get off the burn. After that, it uses Rain Dance, or our Flamethrower is weakened for 5 turns. Doesn't matter, as I use Crunch for the rest of his team. This is what our stats are looking like right now. Not the best, but not the worst. I need to figure out what to do with Howl. It can be useful if we have a physical move to boost. Alright, so first couple of attempts don't go so well. The plan I came up with was to level up to a 70. I learned Double Edge and Victory Road and went back to the casino and picked up the TM for Flamethrower. Dugong has good special defense plus thick fat. This makes using Flamethrower worthless. I get a run where it uses Safeguard first turn so that a Double Edge and Crunch can take it down. We do take recoil damage from Double Edge, so that is something to keep out for. After that, Cloyster is up, and it typically goes for hazards or defensive moves. In this run, it uses Protect, so I get off a Howl to boost our attack. Once it goes down to Crunch, Slowbro is up. It goes down to Crunch as well. Lapras is up, and it survives a Double Edge. Instead of using Surf, it goes for a Confuse Ray. We manage to land a Double Edge and finish it off. Last is Jinx, and we pull off a Crunch and take it down in one shot. Okay, so Bruno took a couple attempts before getting down a good plan. We need to get off an attack boost from Howl, and Onix is our safest bet. It'll either use Rock Tomb or Earthquake first turn, however, Earthquake will knock us out. Rock Tomb does a decent amount of damage, and gets our speed dropped. Don't worry, we're still able to outspeed his entire team, even with the drop. Onix is able to go down to just 1 Crunch. Hitmonchan goes down to a boosted Double Edge, but our health is now at barely half. So after losing at this fight a lot, I want to grab the leftovers to help restore some health after each turn. Hitmonlee is next and goes for a Double Edge as well. We are at a serious disadvantage against these fighting and ground types, so I have to be slightly reckless in my moves. Second Onix is up and it goes down just as easily as the first. Last is Mudchamp, and oh boy did this thing scare me. Our boosted Double Edge just barely brings it to red. It thankfully misses Cross Shop and healed with Citrus Berry. Bruno decided not to heal next turn, so Double Edge was able to take it out. Agatha was a really quick sweep with Crunch. If I'm being honest, I could have done that fight better. Golbat took a good chunk of my health once it survived Double Edge. I kept Fan Attack thinking I was going to be using it for countering Double Team. Arbok lowered our attack with Intimidate, so Crunch is weaker now. We hardly survive a Sludge Bomb and avoid getting poisoned. The last Gengar and Haunter go quickly and we heal after each turn. Alright, so Lance was one of the more interesting battles I've had. He leads with Gyarados, which doesn't even have a water move on it. I take this chance to set up as many Howls as possible. I can't spend a lot of time since it does have Hyper Beam, which can one-shot us. Once Gyarados goes down, he sends out Aerodactyl. It has Ancient Power and can one-shot us. We land a critical Crunch, bringing it down in 1 attack. Dragonite is next and hits hard with a Hyper Beam. We survive with only 5 health and take it out next turn with Crunch. His remaining Dragonair are an easy sweep to Crunch. This is perhaps the worst champion fight I have ever done. So my original plan was to keep Fan Attack so that getting hit with Sand Attack would not be an issue. Fan Attack can't miss, so we can power it up to max with Howl, then we should be fine. Right? Not quite. There is still a lot of battles that end up with us barely one-shotting his entire team or surviving. My plan was to teach Roar. That Pidgeot is the worst thing on his team since it lowers our stats. I get a run where we take an aerial ace and use Roar to force a switch. One of the 2 ideal switches is Executor. I use a track, making it less likely to attack us. We can tank an Egg Bomb, but the more health we have, the better. It puts us asleep, but our ability is Early Bird, so we wake up in less time. Once we wake up, I go for Crunch and take it out. Rhydon is next, and since Crunch is now strong enough, we can take it out in 1 attack as well. Blastoise tends to go for Rain Dance on turn 1, so I make sure to use a track. Fails to attack and restores health with his berry. Next turn, Crunch finishes it. Pidgeot is back and still survives the Crunch and lowers our accuracy. On the turn of heals, I go for another Howl. Alakazam is the other ideal target for Roar. We are immune to its psychic attack, so we can take time setting up with Howl. Last is Arcanine. I make sure to use the track to solve our time. We just need 1 attack to land and we win. Due to sand attack, we take a while before landing the final blow. And with that, we become the champion only using Houndour. This was a really fun challenge to do, and definitely one I've been wanting to try out for a while now. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias down below to stay updated with uploads. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back next time.